Well, good morning once again, and welcome to our Solutions for Success virtual seminar series. I am Mark McGill, the Director of Member Relations here at the South Bend Regional Chamber. So glad to have you with us this morning to talk about a very important, a very ever-changing, a very confusing subject, and that, of course, is the digital landscape, AI, cyber threats. It's just amazing to me how good the cyber criminals have gotten. And I always think about imagine the good they could do if they would use their powers for good instead of evil. So we have a terrific presenter today. We'll get to James here in a second. I'll tell you more about him and the great work that they do, and you're in for a real treat. A couple of housekeeping things I want to remind you of. We have our Q2 networking at lunch coming up this coming Tuesday, the 4th. That's sponsored by Gibson. It's going to be at the Idea Center at Innovation Park at Notre Dame. It's from 11:30 until 1. Ben Hogan, the executive director of commercialization at the Idea Center, joins the discussion. Going to be a really great lunch. You can go online. Anything we're talking about today, you can go online and get signed up at the website sbrchamber.com. But again, plan to join us for Q2 networking at lunch on Tuesday. Our Chamber Golf Classic. We finally have golf weather, I think, and it's here to stay. We're going to knock on wood. Coming up a week from Monday, June 10th. Pretty much all sponsorships are done, but we still have room for some golfers. So again, get your foursome together. Always a terrific event. We play at Knollwood. We use both courses. Some really fun holes, and we fill up both courses. So a lot of great people and good networking opportunities. So that is June 10th. Again, at Knollwood, you can sign up for that online as well. June 18th is our virtual member briefing sponsored by the Aloft South Bend. That's where Jeff Ray, our president and CEO, and then all the department heads get together, and virtually we just kind of give you a quick high-level view of what's happening at the chamber and all the various departments, including Visit South Bend, Mishawaka, economic development, things of that nature. And then June 19th is our first coffee and conversation of the year. We do an event a month, as you know, either coffee and conversation, networking at lunch, or business after hours. We've had several business after hours, but our first coffee and conversation will be June 19th. It's going to be at the Personnel Partners in Osceola on McKinley. Beautiful building, coffee, danishes, and just some great networking. So again, all of our events, everything that we're doing at the Chamber can be found on the website at sbrchamber.com. I want to introduce first one of our terrific partners. We can never do any of what we do here at the Chamber without, obviously, you, the members, and certainly our partners. And we just have a fantastic partner in Sim Financial, very active in the Chamber. They help sponsor the golf outing, and they bring you the virtual seminar series. So I'm going to introduce Evan Stark. From Sim Financial, who's a new daddy 3 months ago, and just a great guy and a great partner, and I want him to tell us a little bit about Sim Financial. Morning, pal.
Good morning, Mark. Appreciate it. We're happy to partner with the Chamber today and on a lot of events throughout the year and get to know more people in our community. So I'm excited about James' presentation this morning. Obviously, in my business, information security is always top of mind, and we get the unfortunate privilege of getting to see the kind of havoc that can happen in somebody's life who's not paying attention to these things and be able to step in and help where we can. So Sim Financial Advisors is an independent fee-only fiduciary firm. We manage around $4.1 billion on a discretionary basis and provide independent financial planning advice. We are one of the top 100 independent firms in the country, but based here in our region. So it's really cool to find gems like that where you're regional, but also nationally recognized for what you do. So awesome firm, and happy to be a part of the community and a part of the Chamber with you all, and look forward to learning more from James.
Great. Evan, thank you again for your partnership and your friendship. Again, we cannot do anything that we do here without great people like you. So we really appreciate all that you do for us, and yeah, just a great guy. All right, so there'll be questions possible. There's a chat function at the bottom. We'll try to, if James is talking about something timely that you want to question about, just put it in the chat. I'll do my best to keep track of that and kind of jump in and get your questions answered. If it's kind of a general question, then we'll save all those to the end, but James will leave plenty of time for questions. But again, feel free to jump in. We know how important this subject matter is, and quite frankly, how confusing it can be at times as well. So anything at all, if you need James to, reiterate something or to kind of expand on something, just please use the chat feature, and I'll do my best to jump in on that. And now it's my honor. Again, speaking of great partners and somebody who really maximizes their chamber membership, James is one of them. He comes to the events, he just is dialed in, plugged in, and really maximizes his chamber membership. And we're thrilled to have him here today. He's
Thank
a
you.
part-time janitor, a part-time landscaper,
You read that, huh?
and right, and the full-time president of Lex IT. It's James Horvath. James, good morning. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you, thank you. And the backstory behind that is Sherry was asking, she's like, "Hey, what's your title?" And I'm like, it really depends on what time it is. As a president, you're wearing many hats, you're doing many things, and so, you know. First off, I'd like to start off by thanking you for all of you joining me on this beautiful morning. I feel like we have some really good information on AI. The overall nature of this content, it is technical, because it is a technical system, but I feel like no matter what your level of knowledge in this field is, you're going to be able to follow along. Also, at the end of this, we have a quiz. We're going to test you guys to see how many of you have a keen eye of spotting fake AI images and real images. And I hear we have a $100 Amazon gift card to give away to the winner. So if you guys can keep your phones and computers near you, so that way when it gets time to load into the test, we can get everybody in there pretty quickly, and that way we can be mindful of everybody's time. So a little about me and Lex IT. We have a team of 8 right now. We're headquartered in Plymouth, Indiana. We have been for 13 years now. We have employees that are all over Michiana. Our goal with our customers is we want to help guide them to where they want to be in their IT landscape. I have a story that I often tell that's really helped me explain why I do what I do. And some of you might have heard it, but one time we had a call from a small dental office, and the doctor walked into our office first thing in the morning, and they noticed that all their computer screens were attacked by ransomware. All the backups were deleted. Their hygienists were standing around because they couldn't clock in. Patients were starting to come in the front door for their appointments, and the doctor was unable to do anything. They had no access to x-rays, no access to patient records, nothing. So they had to send their patients home. The employees went home. Their business was down, unable to generate revenue. We were ultimately able to get them back up and going, but they lost all that data. All the patient X-rays, the records are gone unless they wanted to pay the $300,000 ransomware. I mean, they had to start over. So if I can prevent at least one of you from finding yourselves in this situation, then I'm achieving my goals. You guys work way too hard to get where you are, and you shouldn't lose it to something that's preventable. We also came up with our book called The Secret to Pain-Free Computer Support. If you're in the process of hiring an outside IT service and you just don't know where to start, we created a small knowledge base in our book of questions that you should be asking IT companies before you hire them. If you go to that link, we'll mail you a free copy of the book. And I think we're going to put the link in the chat too, so that way you don't lose the link. So let's dive into what we all came here for. So first, we're going to take a brief moment to go back to the beginning, and we're going to see where the beginnings of AI started. Then we're going to go into why are we hearing so much about it right now. We're going to go into how threat actors are utilizing it to help them. And then finally, we're going to give you some tips on how you can better protect your business from these threat actors. So overall, the goal of artificial intelligence is exactly what it sounds like. We're trying to train machines to duplicate as much as possible and closely as possible the capabilities of the human brain. And this is no small feat. To achieve this, we need computers that can excel in key areas, ingesting, understanding, and contextualizing vast amounts of information. AI systems must be able to process and make sense of large volumes of data from diverse sources. So it's much like our brains. We can take in information from our surroundings, the colors, the as you're driving, the road signs, and we take that all in a matter of seconds. But computers need to do this as well. Spotting trends, sorting ideas, making connections, and inferring conclusions. Just as we can quickly recognize patterns, categorize information, and draw insights, AI must also be able to do the same thing. So this ability to quickly analyze data and make informed decisions is crucial for AI's effectiveness. Mastering the rules of how to think. This includes understanding and applying logic and then decision-making processes. AI needs to be able to emulate the human thought process, allowing it to tackle complex problems and make decisions based on incomplete information. Progress in AI is measured by advancements in these three pillars. So the capacity to handle larger data sets, the development of more sophisticated decision-making algorithms, and the speed at which AI can arrive at these conclusions is what's building and what's growing these AI systems right now. So as we continue to push the boundaries of AI, we aim to create systems that are more capable, more intelligent, and more efficient at mimicking the human cognitive function. So this journey is this is what makes AI right now so fascinating, and it's so rapidly evolving right now. So who here recognizes one of these guys? We actually had a really interesting debate here in our office about RoboCop and whether he was truly AI or not. And I know Alex is watching right now. He's excited, but in the conclusion, we came to AI or RoboCop is AI because he himself says in the movie, "I don't even have my own brain." So final conclusion, he made the list. Some of these, the most popular AI you probably heard of is Skynet. You see the robotic organism right there on the right. Skynet is the most popular AI you've heard of time and time again, and it's from the Terminator series. More specifically, it's known as an artificial general superintelligence system that serves as the antagonistic force for the Terminator franchise. All the time in the media, you hear about people concerned about AI gaining self-intelligence, deciding humans are no longer needed for life to flourish, and so it turns on humans. But thankfully, as far as us, the general public, are aware, we're not at that point. We've got a long ways, and there's a lot of people that are building frameworks to help prevent that from happening as well. So to get into AI, we really need to go back to the beginning. So some of you may, I don't know what just happened there we go. Some of you may have seen a fantastic movie called The Imitation Game about Alan Turing. He's an English mathematician. And long story short, back in World War II, the Germans were communicating using encrypted messages, created by machines called Enigma machines. Long story short, Alan Turing created an electromechanical machine known as the bomb, or some called it the thinking machine. And what it did is it tested thousands of combinations of settings to find the correct setting that would allow us to decipher the German messages. Some say this alone shortened the war by several years and saved countless lives, but it also laid the groundwork for modern computing. Alan Turing's 1950 paper, Computing, Machinery, and Intelligence, introduced the concept of what we call the Turing test. And what it assesses is it assesses the machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior undistinguishable from a human's. Turing addressed the question, can machines think as we thinking entities can do? And to explore this, he introduced the concept of the imitation game, which is known as the Turing test these days. And what the Turing test did is it involves a human evaluator who interacts with both a machine and a human through a text-based interface. So imagine this evaluator sitting in front of a computer with two chat windows open. One is the machine and the other one is the human, but the evaluator doesn't know which one is which. If the evaluator cannot reliably distinguish between which one is the machine and which one is the human, the machine is said to have demonstrated intelligent behavior undistinguishable from that of the human. So the Turing test provided a clear operational criteria for evaluating which of these machines are intelligent, shifting the focus from an abstract philosophical debate now to practical assessments. It also laid the groundwork for future research in artificial intelligence by establishing a benchmark for machine performance. The Turing test is still, to this day, a significant concept in AI research and influenced both theoretical discussions and the development of intelligent machines. So then we skip to the 21st century, where machine learning and deep learning networks start popping up. Thanks to the internet, now we have these vast amounts of data sets. We start developing machines that can process all of this data a lot faster. And hardware performance had increased at sometimes double year over year between 1975 and 2009. But then in 2009, there was a pivotal moment in history where generative AI was probably officially born. Experts started looking for more compute power. So what they did is they switched from what's called CPUs to GPUs. And I actually have some of these here in front of me. If you can kind of see, this little chip right here is what is called a CPU. And this is actually a modern day CPU. And you notice that it's kind of small. And the way I'm going to describe a CPU in this presentation is, imagine a CPU is a single really smart person that can solve math problems one by one, but really quickly. Now, this is a GPU, and you notice the size difference in these. The CPU is much smaller. This GPU is a lot bigger, and this is actually, these days, this isn't even a big GPU. We actually have bigger ones. And what I want you to imagine a GPU is a classroom of students, each of them capable of solving math problems. While each student might not be as fast as a single smart person, but they're able to work together and they can work on many problems at the same time. So thus they can get all these math problems done at hundreds of times faster than that one single smart person. These GPUs are typically used for gaming and graphics, but what they're really good at is parallel processing, and that's what AI needs. They need to process all this data as fast as possible, so that way, when you ask it these questions, it can respond to you as quickly as it can, like a regular human would. And then in 2017, the ChatGPT came out. The power of all these GPUs is, you start getting these GPUs, you start stuffing them in computers, and you start linking all these computers together, and you build a network. Now you have a powerful AI, and this power is what directly led to OpenAI's release of ChatGPT, or generative pre-trained transformer, in 2009 or 2017. So right now in AI, we're kind of in this phase where we have three different types of AI and all at once. And there's probably more, but the three big buckets are predictive, prescriptive, and the newest one is generative. And many of you might already be using AI tools in your business, and chances are these tools are either predictive or prescriptive in nature. Predictive tools analyze data to forecast future trends, such as financial forecasting. Prescriptive tools suggest actions that achieve desired outcomes, such as a credit decision. But what's exciting now, and what's an emergence of generative AI is, and you may have encountered it in some of your applications like the Adobe Creative Suite, AI doesn't just predict or prescribe, it creates. At the heart of generative AI is large language models. And these language models use neural networks to understand and to replicate the way humans think and generate text. They're trained on vast amounts of data to learn patterns and structures in language to enable them to create new content, and new content that's coherent and contextually relevant to you. And for these models to be efficient, they need a substantial amount of data from diverse sources. The more data they have, the better they are that they can understand and generate human-like text. Lastly, these models, they combine all that data and the architecture in a process that is known as supervised training. During this training process, the model learns from examples, it improves its ability, it might learn from itself the mistakes that it makes, so that way it can learn to get from point A to point B in the most efficient manner as possible. And I want you to bear with me. I know these two slides are getting kind of getting like this is the meat and potatoes of AI. This is about as high level as we're going to get today. So just bear with me. We're almost through it, and we're going to get to the good stuff. So the initial breakthrough in large language models were driven by text-based interactions. You know, researchers developed models that could understand and generate human-like text. These text-based LLMs laid the foundation for versatile AI tools that we have today. Generative AI has since expanded into various modalities beyond just text. On here, this slide, you know, we see text-based LLMs. These models are trained to understand and generate text. They can write articles, answer questions, or even engage in conversations just like I am doing right now. You know, an example of a text-based LLM is OpenAI's GPT-4. You know, a sample prompt that you might use are, what are the pros and cons of outsourcing my AR? Or can you tell me what actions were created during this meeting? Uh, there is text to image. This technology allows us to generate image from textual descriptions. For example, you can describe a scene or an object, and the model will create a visual representation based on that description. An example of this would be OpenAI's DALL-E. A sample prompt you might use would be create an image of a dog wearing a high visibility vest rendered in comic book style. Concerned construction worker foreman, it looks at the dog as he walks by. You know, being very descriptive, you can create this entire AI image from nothing, just from your text. Text to video, and this one is new, and this one's kind of exciting too. This is a newer and rapidly evolving area. It really involves creating video content from text descriptions. You know, imagine writing a script and having AI generate the video based on that script. An example of this is Sora. And some of the videos that Sora is generating even has me where I'm digging through the details. I'm looking for the mistakes, and they're getting harder and harder to find because it's getting much better at generating these videos. You know, a sample prompt you might use for this is, you know, I create a video of a dog wearing a high vis vest running down a white sand beach with a professional female reading a message or uh, reading text over the video, so that way you get a professional video. And then we have text to audio. Similar to text to image, this modality generates audio from text. Now, this includes creating synthetic voices from various applications like audiobooks or even virtual assistants. Um, a lot of you might have, and I forgot to unplug mine so I don't set her off. A lot of you might have Alexas sitting around your office. They are primarily built on text to audio. They send what they want to say off so that way it can be generated into audio, and then they play the response back to you. So now that we're past all the, you know, the things that make up AI, and we're up to speed on generative AI and how it can help us, you know, it's time to remember why we're here. How do these tools help people that we call threat actors more effective? Well, AI is creating new tools that are enabling threat actors to be more efficient. Before, it was generally intensive to launch a successful cyber attack. A threat actor would need to start by researching a company, investing in the kind of hardware or investigating what kind of hardware that they have. Find what was exposed to the internet, research what vulnerabilities the hardware had, and then they would have to either craft software and get they have to craft their own software, or they have to go out and buy software, and it was just really time intensive. Uh, so he would now, instead of having all to do all this himself, he has to use tools like ChatGPT. ChatGPT can help in this process, as instead of doing the research themselves, all they have to ask the question is, hey, what does this Cisco device have vulnerabilities? And online, they're on the dark web, they're actually selling tools called Worm GPT that can craft entire campaigns in seconds, including malware, written and coded malware that's ready to go and out the door. So the ability of AI, generative AI in particular, to realistically capture and model reality is what is particularly dangerous. Us as humans, we grow up trusting our senses, making decisions based on that confidence. And deepfake tools are only getting better. Legislators and law enforcement, they're racing to keep up. Right now, we're in a cat and mouse game. It's kind of like the wild, wild west of AI. And what's scary too is you only need a small amount of voice or video data. Only a small amount of it's required to create a deep fake. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine this. One of your most trusted operation employees, Brenda, we'll call her. It's Friday before Memorial Day. We'll say Memorial Day since we just celebrated it. They're busy, they're distracted, they're ready to call it quits, and they receive a text message allegedly from the boss asking them to go buy 30 gift cards, each of them totaling $100 each, and to send them the codes as they need it for an upcoming webinar over AI. So, she's ready to ignore it. It sounds fishy. It just is not something they normally ask, but then she receives a video message with the face of the CEO, again asking for the gift cards. She's worked there for many years. She recognizes the CEO. It sounds like the CEO. So she went to Amazon.com and started buying gift cards. I mean, why wouldn't she? There's $3,000 out the window. So why did it work? Generative AI's ability to create convincing audio and video deepfakes has overcome Brenda's natural suspicion. These attacks was easily personalized with just a little bit of info gathered from the CEO's social media page. It only takes a few seconds of audio to replicate a person's voice. If you're paying attention to the news of AI, just recently, Scarlett Johansson is suing OpenAI because she claims that OpenAI stole her voice for their chatbot. So, you can't even protect the sound of your voice these days. In my personal opinion, one of the biggest threats that has derived from AI is the ability for anyone, no matter their level of hacking ability, to use tools like ChatGPT to execute complex cyber attacks with ease. For instance, AI can automate the process of finding vulnerabilities on your network. It can craft entire campaigns of phishing emails to send to your employees. And each one of those emails is personalized to each one of those employees, or even malware code. Traditionally, which required higher level of expertise, it's all done in seconds with a simple prompt. This democratization of hacking tools or hacking skills, I'm sorry, means that the barrier of entry is lower. So the potential for widespread coordinated attacks is higher. No longer are we just worrying about the Russian cybercriminals, but we are also defending against bored high schoolers that are just doing it to see if they can. So in essence, AI is turning beginners into experts, amplifying the threat landscape significantly. Right now, I mentioned Worm GPT. Chat GPT has safeguards and numerous ethical constraints and protective measures that prevent misuse. These safeguards include content moderation, restrictions on generating harmful content. I can't just go into Chat GPT and say, hey, I want to hack the South Bend Chamber of Commerce. But with Worm GPT, they've removed all these restrictions. It gives me full access to answers to any questions they ask, and it does the research, it does the research that I need to deploy a successful cyber campaign. So again, let's picture this. It's November. It's a relatively new hire in your finance department. They get an email stating that there's healthcare changes. Please read. And they just recently had a newborn, so it's important to them. They don't want to lose their insurance. And so the sense of urgency overwhelms him, and he clicks on what he thinks is a spreadsheet with healthcare enrollment. But instead, what he did is he downloaded a malware that was completely written in AI. The entire email campaign was written in AI, and it was done in a matter of seconds. So another aspect you need to consider as well in your own business, and before you start to use generative AI and leverage AI in general, is it's critical to understand where these systems also create risk and what you can do to minimize and mitigate them. You know, right now there is an explosion of tools, AI tools online. You can just do a simple search, and last night I looked, I think there was 12 pages of various different AI tools from random websites. And law firms utilize a lot of text-driven documents. I think this will be a good example. There's a lot of tools online that they say will summarize long records, or they say ask your PDF. You upload your PDF and you type in a prompt, why did Jimmy get sued? And it'll give you a detailed explanation of everything. But what this means is you're dropping those confidential legal documents on an online service that has zero promises that those records are being confidential. OpenAI or ChatGPT, they have settings that allow you to opt out to have your data used for training purposes. But ultimately, you need a Gen AI acceptable use policy that states where your users are allowed to use your internal data versus having them go to some sketchy random website that you have no clue where that data is going. Well, a really good story that kind of encompasses this is Air Canada. Recently, Air Canada released a chatbot for customer service, and they had a passenger by the name of Jake that used this customer service chatbot. He inquired about a bereavement discount since he had a sudden family death, and the chatbot assured Jake that he could take his trip, and then when he gets back, apply for the discount. Well, Jake went on his trip. He got back. When Jake tried to use this discount, Air Canada then stated to him that, hey, our chatbot was wrong and it's not available to claim. Long story short, Jake went through the court system and he won. Granted, in this situation, Air Canada only had to pay $812 plus the cost of court costs. But what if that chatbot had promised a lifetime travel discount? The court stated that Air Canada is liable for all information on their website, no matter if it's a static web page or a chatbot. So as of April 2024, Air Canada no longer has a chatbot on their website. So before you go rushing to add a chatbot on your website, think about the Air Canada incident. So the bad news is that you're already facing threats from AI and generative AI, and it's ranging from simple automated port scanning to sophisticated techniques like deep video fakes. These threats can compromise our security and trust if not addressed properly. However, the good news is that even if AI is generating a lot of unknowns, there's definitely steps that you can take to keep your business secure. First off, let's talk about security controls. Regularly updating your security systems to ensure that you're protected against the latest threats. Make sure you have the latest firewall. If you're still sitting there with a Netgear router that you have bought 12 years ago, it is probably time for you to start looking into upgrading to a newer, more up-to-date firewall. Your antivirus software, you need to make sure you guys have an intrusion detection system and make sure that it's always up to date. Next, you should revisit your approval and decision process. Ensure that these processes are robust and include checks for AI-related threats. This might involve updating policies or adding new layers of verification for sensitive access or actions such as requesting large sum of money. It's also crucial to create appropriate AI use policies. Define clear guidelines on how AI tools can be used within your organization to prevent misuse and ensure compliance with security protocols. Define where your employees are allowed to input your data. Also, with all things cybersecurity, educate. Educate your users about the risk and rewards of AI is the first step in setting expectations around security and appropriate use. Teach your employees about security compliance and IP infringement risk. Ensure teams understand compliance, privacy, and IP risk by using company data with Gen AI. Add ongoing AI training to existing employees' education efforts. And lastly, get a third-party security assessment. A lot of businesses that we come into, this happens time and time again. We have a slew of security problems at these companies, and the number one thing that we always hear is we just didn't know. A third-party security assessment can help you uncover holes in your network that you didn't know about. Majority of IT companies can help you with this. If you have an IT company, don't let them get comfortable. If you have an IT team, or if you have an in-house IT, a third-party assessment will help you find the holes and make sure that there's nothing hidden from you that you don't know about. A lot of techs want things to be set it and forget it, but in this landscape, you need to have your firewalls and software patched in days, not weeks or months at this point. So to wrap this session up, I wanted to thank you for joining me this morning. I hope I could have shed a bit of new information to you, and hopefully I've given you some ideas to bring back to your business and how to plan to utilize AI in the future. Possibly, hopefully, there's ways to implement safeguards to protect you and your employees and your data. Going forward, if you have any questions about AI, or you would like to take it off to the sidelines, or if you have any other IT questions, scan the first QR code. It'll take you to my calendar. You can schedule a time. Or I mentioned having a third party come in and do a cyber assessment for you and help you uncover issues that you might not just know about. As part of our goal to help secure Michiana, we're offering this completely free to all South Bend Regional Chamber members. And like I said, even if you have an IT department or another IT company, scan the QR code. We'll book a 30-minute discovery call. We'll run our assessment. We'll sit down with you and we'll go over our report of findings. At the end, you can use this knowledge to take it to your current IT team, have them fix it, or if you elect Lex IT, we of course love to help you. So now with the fun part. Now's the time where you need to grab your phone and go to the website play.blookit.com. And I'm going to put this up on the screen here in a second. At this point, this is where we're going to test some of you, and we're going to see who can spot the AI fakes and the reals. And I'm going to get this going on my screen so that we can see all what's going on. One tip that I can make too is make sure your phones stay on and they don't go to sleep between questions, because if it goes to sleep and it loses connection, sometimes it will kick you out of the game. So and also, when you enter in your names, please do it in a way that we can identify the winner. Nicknames might make it a little hard for us to verify the winner is actually who they say they are. So if you can put something a little bit identifiable, there is going to be a series of 15 pictures. It's going to ask you two questions. Is it real or is it fake? And and so we're going to see which one of you can properly identify it. So let me hop in here real quick. And some of you know that my fiance is a teacher, so we love Blookit. We love these little games. So if you go to play.blookit.com and you enter in this code right here, it should get you in here, and I think it's going to let you choose a cool little avatar. It's going to, yeah, these little reindeer. I think my favorite avatar that they have is they have a gray little fox. So give you guys a few minutes to jump in here. Again, you can if for you that haven't used this, all you have to do is open up a web browser on your phone, your computer, Go to play.booklet.com. It's going to ask you to enter in your game ID. You just type in the 8093564, and it should get you in. It'll ask you your name. You pick your cool little avatar, and we'll get going. I see people are still hopping in, so we're going to let them keep going. Let's see, we got a fish, got a lion, monkey, snake. I don't Jameson, you have my favorite avatar. That wolf is the my character that I always go to. Still getting people jumping in. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see this. And one thing that I think this also demonstrates, this exercise that we're doing right now also is going to demonstrate, is at the end we're going to see the results of how many people answered correctly and how many people answered incorrectly. And this also goes to the phishing campaigns, the phishing email campaigns that you guys go through. You should have implemented in your business to help identify phishing emails. And a lot of those emails are AI generated. So, going through these images, some people are going to get tripped up, and it's going to show that people make mistakes. So, I think we are ready to go. Oh, we're still getting people jumping in. Want to give you every chance you get, but we're also running up against some time. Give you, say, another 10 seconds. And away we go. So let's get this going. You got 20 seconds to answer. And also you can click on the image to make it bigger so that way you can kind of see details. So right here we have the Pope in a snazzy white coat. So choose, is this image real or is it AI generated? Oh, so in this instance, it was an AI image. This was it was a pretty popular one. And Eric, good job. You're pretty quick on that. So right out the go, Eric is in first place. Next one. Now we have the queen herself. Is this image AI or is it real? And I like to look at some of these images and get really deep and look at some of the things, like, look at the jewelry. Does the jewelry make sense? Is it doing the correct things? Oh, so we had another AI image. Jameson, you're in first place. All right, what about this image? You got some people sitting around a table. I like to really examine so let's make sure that the legs are going the right way. Is anything cutting into anything else? Does everything look the way that it's supposed to? And this one is a real image. Ooh, yeah, kind of got a little split there. Jameson, I spoke you up. I told you you had a cool character. Now it's just giving you the power to just keep in first place. All right, here we go. Looks like we got a lady golfer. Does that golf club look normal? Does her hair look normal? What about the backdrop? To me, everything's looking pretty good. This one was real. And my fiance actually put this together for me last night. So this quiz. So even I don't even know the answers to these ones. So I'm kind of learning and going along as we go. All right. Looks like we got a couple lady runners. It looks like she's pretty happy. The hair's flowing in the wind. I could say that this hair might be, one side's flowing, but the other one's not. Um, Looking around, I don't see anything else that really stands out. And this was AI. This was an AI generated image. Ah, Hodge takes first place. All right, looks like we got some soldiers sitting around a table eating their meal. You know, looking around, there's a lot of dark areas in this photo, so it's kind of hard to, see a lot of the detail, but everything's looking potentially real, and the outcome is it's an AI image. Even really looking at the detail, it's hard to spot some of these real photos or the AI generated photos. Ooh, we have another first place movement, Thomas. All right, so it looks like we got a lady in a astronaut suit. Looks like she's pretty happy. I I would argue she's standing on top of a mountain. Why is she in an astronaut suit? But the air's thin up there. Could be possible. Okay, got another AI image. I love seeing these scores. It just changes every round. You guys are doing good. Jameson, we're back in first place. I'm rooting for you, buddy. Just because you have my favorite character. All right, so it looks like we got a gentleman. He's enjoying a warm embrace with his dog. Dog might not be enjoying it as much, but see, what do we got? Looking at the detail, everything kind of looks normal. Glasses are going the right direction, and this was a real image. So where are we at now? Is Jameson still in first place? Oh, Hodge is back up there. Question 9. Wow, looks like we got Mr. President Obama sitting around with some kids. Looks like they're at a burger joint. Um, looking around, there's a burger on the wall. That's an interesting thing. Do those burgers look normal? Uh, maybe one thing I could point out is text. A lot of AI generators are still bad at generating text, and so you can see this was an AI image. And if you saw in the background, the menu was gibberish. So Chris first place, Jameson in second, Hodge in third. All right, here we have the thing with this one is, look at all the detail. There's a lot of really good detail on that hat. There's a lot of really good detail on the vest. The earrings look normal. Everything is flowing correctly. Nothing's kind of jutting into each other. And yeah, I would say that one was a real image. So where are we now? Looks like we got 5 more questions to go. Hodge first, Jameson second. All right, so now it looks like we got some gentlemen standing around a bus stop. You know, again, details. Look at the details. Are there legs popping out where they don't belong, or are there somebody that doesn't have legs? I'm not seeing it in this image, but yeah, okay. So that one's a real image. Had some pretty quick answers there too. Chris, you're in first, Jameson second, Hodge in third. You guys are fighting for the first. I like it. Ah, okay. See, this I love images like this. You got a little construction worker. It looks like he's running through some muck. It looks like he got a little garbage truck in the back, a little post-apocalyptic kind of feeling in the back. Um, yeah, I have an idea what this one is. Yeah, you guys all got that one. You weren't no that one didn't trick any of you. Good job. Chris, Jameson, and Hodge. All right, here's a good one. Looks like we got a gentleman. He's in the hospital. Has a couple nurses around him. Um, this could be a stock photo. Could be an AI generated image. It's definitely feeling stock photo-ish. Ooh, and it was an AI generated image. And one thing I want to point out is the hands were actually ghosting through the bed rail, if you notice that. AI is still pretty bad with hands. It's getting better these days. Well, you know, hopefully you guys were listening to me. Got a gentleman business owner. I would say business owner. Let's infer that he's a business owner. He's busy day trying to handle employees, and two of you didn't listen. If you notice his hand that was on the table was all melded together. It didn't look like an actual like real hand. CDG is moving up in the ranks. Final question. All right. Oh my. Let's look at this one. Got a interesting character. Looks like they're potentially out on the beach. Two beachgoers, and I don't know what you would call him. Sasquatch or Abominable Snowman. He's having a beach day too. And that was a real image. So final score. CDG in third, Jameson in second, and Chris in first. Congratulations, Chris. Uh, get with get with us afterwards, and we'll get that Amazon gift card to you. So let me get back to. And Mark, I'm coming up to the final part of my slide. I'm just going to bring up our contact info again. And get to the end of it. And there you are. So, as I said, if you want to book a one-on-one meeting with me, the first QR code is what you want to use. If you want to book that cybersecurity assessment, the second QR code is what you would use. But another fun thing I have for you guys too is if you enjoyed going through those images and trying to figure out which one was real or not, there's that link there in the bottom left-hand corner. And, Kellogg University actually created a website that does exactly what you just did, where you have to go through and pick out which images are real or not. And I think they have like a collection of 215 that you can go through. And some of them are really convincing and some of them are not so much. But so with that, Mark.
James, thank you. Lisa had raised her hand, Lisa Schneider, early on in the presentation. I can't tell if Lisa's still with us, but if so, you want to ask your question, Lisa? Let me see your name.
You're not muted, but we don't hear you. Maybe your microphone's not working. Oh, she said it was a mistake.
Oh, okay. No problem. Any other questions for James? Man, that exercise was fun. I did terrible, by the way.
Did you? Did you?
I was right in the middle. Story of my life, right in the middle of the pack. Man, we can't thank you enough. There was a lot of information and just man, it's a kind of a scary time out there. And a question that I had that may be a stupid question before we leave if someone's trying to send you fake things and your company doesn't bite, let's say, do they leave you alone and go somewhere else? It's kind of like they're trying to break into a car and your car's always locked, or will they just keep trying?
I like to, it's just like sales. It's a numbers game. They can, if somebody is trying to attack your business solely, they're going to keep on trying. But a lot of the times these guys are trying to do wide swaths of attacks. So they can try to hit you, then they move on to the next one and the next one and the next one until finally they get something. Again, with AI, it's easy to automate it, and it's easy to generate it so that way it's doing multiple companies at the same time.
Got it. Again, thank you so much. Again, and thank you for the generous offer of the free assessment for South Bend Regional Chamber members. Hit the QR code and please reach out to James. He's really good at what he does and can help you out. Evan, you're still here. Thank you again for your support and all that you do for the chamber. Any final words from you, my friend?
No, sir. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to learn more and to, again, yeah, also score pretty middle of the pack on a on game.
I
So
think you were
good.
right ahead of me. I was watching. All I wanted to do was beat you, and I couldn't even do that.
I was gonna put my name as Mark McGill and just get them all wrong, but you did one.
The real Mark McGill got most of them wrong, so you don't have to even do that. So check out our website, sbrchamber.com. Hope to see you at lunch next week for networking at lunch and our golf outing in a couple of weeks. And again, please reach out to James with any questions or for the free assessment. James, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I'm sure we'll see you at the next event. Everybody, thank you for your support of the chamber and have a terrific day. We appreciate your time this morning. Thanks.
See you guys.